relatively warm lake waters. And while we're not expecting any major accumulations of snow, generally less than 3 inches, you're nevertheless getting snow, getting wintry weather, some chilly temperatures. And again, we've had snow around Syracuse and Ithaca, and over towards Buffalo and Rochester and Pittsburgh. You've been reporting snow for much of the evening, as well as portions of eastern Ohio. Again, accumulations not expected to be tremendous, but you could pick up 3 inches of snow in some of those favored areas. Dave?
An unusual shot of wintry weather is chilling much of the nation tonight, and you can expect even colder air over the next couple of days. Now, that's not good news for the flooded and frozen sections of the Dakotas and Minnesota. You see, one of the worst places is Breckenridge, Minnesota. Floodwaters already were causing major problems for this western Minnesota town. Then the snowstorm hit over the weekend. Breckenridge is shut down as hundreds of people were forced to evacuate. National Guard troops patrolled the slushy streets. No doubt a warm-up will be appreciated here, but it's a sure bet the flooding will resume at that point. In south-central Minnesota, the Minnesota River at New Ulm is expected to crest on Wednesday. People have been sandbagging in hopes of holding back the water. Road detours have become a way of life as the flooding has covered some of the routes into New Ulm, Minnesota. Well, it's a rough go up here. Even though we don't have any snow coming down from the sky, we don't have any big heavy rains, we're keeping an eye on the water that's already down here, either in the rivers or in the form of snow and ice on land. And get this for a little piece of irony. This from the National Weather Service office in Duluth, Minnesota. A flood warning is in effect through Thursday for southern St. Louis County, which is here in northeastern Minnesota. A flood warning is in effect through Thursday, April 10th, for the Floodwood and the St. Louis rivers at Floodwood, Minnesota. Apparently that's been named after events that have occurred in the past. Floodwood, Minnesota. Tonight, however, we are freezing liquid. It's 21 up in Duluth, 24 down here in the Twin Cities, in the single digits in the Dakotas, but a little bit warmer here. There's going to be a warm-up out in the western Dakotas here tomorrow, just to warm up to some degree. 24 in Chicago. It is now 11:34 in Chicago, and in 24 minutes, of course, it'll be tomorrow. And between then and sunrise, we expect the temperature to fall below 20. That'll set a brand new record. We only hit 30 in Chicago. And in Des Moines, 30 degrees was all we could muster. That was the coldest April 8th on record in Des Moines, Iowa. It is very cold. Now that cold air into Lexington, where a freeze warning is in effect here tonight. Cold high pressure sitting up over near Lake Winnipeg, driving this cold air southward. In Parkersburg, West Virginia, 2 hours ago, 53 degrees. Right now it's snowing. So this cold air is blasting through. It's getting colder now in New York City. A sprinkle or a flurry not out of the question for you the next couple of hours. No accumulation, however. Look at this pool of cold air. When you consider high temperatures running 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 degrees below average, that's a pretty good Arctic outbreak. This is the same cold air that was in northwestern Canada and Alaska. While it's getting colder here, it's warming up there. Fairbanks is 42. They had a high temperature of 53 degrees, which was 23 degrees warmer than it was in Chicago. Well, now we've got the cold air in place. A storm is brewing out here in the Rockies, and as that moves into the cold air, even though it's April, heavy snow is expected for some folks. Let's look out into the future with Christina.
Okay, Dave, here we go into our forecast, and snow in the west. That's going to be one of the big stories as we head on into tomorrow. That storm system really brewing here, and the snow will be falling. Now to the south, what we're going to see is wet weather and maybe some storms, and then in between, icy conditions a possibility here through the panhandle of Texas. As the day wears on, we'll see some of that snow moving eastward on into the plain states, and ultimately it's going to move even more towards the east. Still getting some lake effect snow in the northeastern U.S. That'll take you on into your Wednesday afternoon. A few areas still picking up a bit of snow. And we see that snow moving into Nebraska and Kansas and South Dakota, while again it's going to be rain and perhaps storms to the south. and this is really going to get wound up, and it is going to be a major weather maker in the days ahead. Precipitation, well, these are the heaviest amounts we could find here in the west, although not falling in the form of rain, falling as snow. Half a foot or more possible here, but again in the northeast, no major accumulations, well, generally less than 3 inches, nothing to compare with what's going on here in the west. As far as temperatures overnight, they're going to be pretty chilly, chillier than you'd like to see it this time of year. And take a look at these high temperatures. Highs through the Dakotas and Minnesota and Montana only in the 20s for Wednesday, and of course that is well below your seasonal norm, so not good news for the folks there.
I know, we want it to warm up, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Hey, got travel plans in the morning? We got your forecast next. We made it to...
This is your local forecast, weather information you can plan on, because we show it on the 8s of every hour. Local on the 8s on the Weather Channel. The new program schedule on the Weather Channel makes it easy to get exactly the information you need. Weather stuff on the hour and half hour. Your local forecast on the 8s of every hour. Travel-wise at 10 and 40 past. The weekly planner at 20 past. The weekend outlook at 15 and 45 past. And a storm update at 50 past. It's easy to use. The new program schedule on the Weather Channel.